Welcome back to Pop Culture Theory. I am Saccora, and I am here today with our very first Brawl deck tech live. Now, I've been doing multiple decks for Brawl format ever since they announced it, and I want to bring a couple of them to here. I figured I would try a live deck tech today, and we'll see how that kind of goes. So, we're going to go ahead and get started here, and we're going to go through our very first live Brawl deck tech, and that is going to be for Merfolks. I asked you guys which ones you wanted to see, and I had the most responses for Merfolks, so I decided that was the way that we were going to do this. I have a couple others already in the works, including I have one Brawl deck tech that I've done, and I'm working on one of my programs that I use. So I'd really like your guys' opinions, whether you like these live versions more, or whether you guys would like to see me go back to using programs. In the background, you will hear ALBVS music. It is a copyrighted music that I have been streaming during some of my box openings and deck techs. Let's go ahead and get started here. I am going to have my screen open so I can read any questions you guys have for me if you want to bring those out. So once again, I'm going to move this down here. You guys can see Kumena is going to be my commander for this. I was between Kumena and Tashana. I run Merfolks in Commander, and I prefer Tashana in that one. But for this particularly, Kumena works out better. It's going to work a lot more toward the strategy that we use to win. Oh, flipped it from the wrong side. You guys saw Forest. We all know about Forest. We're going to start with Miscloaked Herald. We're going to go through some of our one-drops. I'm going to start with our Merfolk. I believe 20 Merfolk in total is what I have in this. Miscloaked Herald is one of those. It can't be blocked. That is actually one of our key strategies, is using creatures that can't be blocked. We're also running Kumena's Speaker. Kumena's Speaker is another great value Merfolk. It's an awesome second play. Or if you can go ahead and get your island down on the second turn, you can play this first turn with your Forest. Jungle Delver, another great one-drop, and it's going to give us those +1/+1 counters, which is a key part of our strategy here. Jade Bear, another one-drop that's going to give us some of those +1/+1 counters. And then we have River Sneak. River Sneak is another one of those key creatures. We're going for a lot of those unblockable creatures in this one, and that's how we're going to try to make our win conditions. Of course, Silvergill Adept, one of our modern and standard staples for Merfolks. Merfolk Mistbinder, of course, you have to have your Tribal Lords if you're going to be running your tribes here. Deeproot Elite is another great one here. It's going to give you more of those +1/+1 counters that we're going to talk about. And Deeproot Champion, for that matter. Now, I've gone back and forth a little on Deeproot Champion because this is a very creature-heavy deck, but I decided I still want it in there. If you feel there's not enough spells that aren't creatures in this, then you can go ahead and cut that one. Merfolk Branchwalker, because we do love exploring. Jungleborn Pioneer is going to get us that extra body right off the bat, and these hexproof Merfolk tokens end up being real good. Shapers of Nature. This is one I haven't ran in my standard or in my EDH. It just didn't find the room in them compared to other better cards. But in Brawl, I'm finding that I really like Shapers of Nature. I'm going to actually go ahead and focus this up just a little bit here. You guys can see it has the... All right, we are back live here with our deck tech. I've been having some issues with my live streams cutting in and out. I think I'm back up and solid now. I'm watching this. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. I'm watching my stream chat on the side. We were just talking about Shapers of Nature. I don't use it in my standard or my EDH, but I'm really liking it for the Brawl version of Merfolks. Next up, we're going to talk about the Merfolk, or the Jadelight Ranger Merfolk. This is another great one. Double Explorer. I mean, what else do I need to say about it? On a 3-drop, you can walk away with a 4/3 monster. It's awesome. Kupala, Warden of the Waves. This is one that I didn't use in my standard deck, but I really enjoy in Brawl. So I had one copy in my EDH as well, and I figured it needs to make its way over to Brawl. Now, this might be the most important card in the deck here, and that is Herald of the Secret Streams. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. If you can get Herald of the Streams here, let me kind of tip it up. If you guys can get this out, and you have a lot of your creatures that you've been putting your +1/+1 counters on, this can be your win condition against multiple opponents at once. We also have Tempest Caller, another great card that we were using in standard already, but in this case, it's not as good as standard because it's only one of the target opponents, so you're only really going to be able to get one opponent out at a time with this. Next up, we have Seafloor Oracle. Seafloor Oracle is going to be another good one because it's going to give you that hand advantage. I even was in between putting Curious Obsession in here, but with Seafloor Oracle giving it to all my Merfolks, I don't need it. The next one we're going to talk about is maybe the most important type of tribal card, and we're going to see this in all the tribal decks, and that is our Forerunners. Those are going to be really good. They are a tutor that is going to allow you to get that perfect Merfolk that's going to be your win condition. You're going to see this in the Vampire deck as well, and any of these tribal decks that are giving us these Forerunners are going to be great. We're going to make good use of them here in the Brawl format. And then finally, Tishana. You can't do the Merfolk deck without Tishana. She is in herself a win condition here. Phone going off on the side. We're going to ignore that. We're using Tishana consistently. I actually prefer her in my EDH deck as my commander, but in this case, Comenda being able to pop out those +1/+1 counters is actually vital to us winning here. Now, we're going to keep on going, and we're going to talk about Rishkar Pima Renegade, the first of our non-Merfolk people. Now, this is another one that's good just because it's going to give us those +1/+1 counters, and it's going to allow us to fix our mana and get more mana going. Another one that might be a bit of a surprise, but I really liked it since we're not going very counter-heavy, is Prowling Serpapod, which is going to, if you get it out, stop them from countering any of your Merfolks. We're going to be running 2 gods in this, and that's Ronus the Indomitable, and I'll set right next to it Kefnet the Mindful. Both of these gods are great. Ronus, that +2 in Trample can be really good. It has made the win condition for me a couple of times, where you think you can pop that out, even if Ronus can't attack yet, you put a couple +2s on someone who's unblockable, and there you go. Whereas Kefnet, we're going to have a pretty big hand most of the time from my deck test, and he's going to be able to attack, and he's got that flying and indestructible. We like anything that's going to go over their heads. We got 2 more creatures, and those are both dinosaurs. We got Carnage Tyrant. Another thing, I just like having it since it can't be countered, and it demands an answer. You gotta love those cards. And of course, Ghalta Primal Hunger. Now, Ghalta Primal Hunger works really well with Merfolks, and in Brawl, I can't make the mistake of suggesting you use more than one of them at once. I'm never going to live that down. So, Ghalta is definitely a key piece of my Merfolk deck. I'm liking using it, and I'm going to kind of focus this in as one of my win conditions, because if I can pop Ghalta out on the right turn, it's going to make for a devastating play. Now, let's go through some of our non-creature cards before we get into our lands. Set those over to the side here. Of course, we are running Deep-Root Waters, so we can be producing our 1/1 creature tokens, and Arcane Adaptation. So if we hit any of those non-Merfolk creatures, we're going to still be proccing off it, and those non-Merfolk creatures are going to get the benefits of our Merfolk creatures. I did go a lot back and forth on whether that was the right play to make there, but I think Arcane Adaptation fits well. Shaper's Sanctuary is my next one there. Shaper's Sanctuary is going to allow me to, again, just draw more cards. I'm outdrawn all of my opponents so far through my deck tests. We have a couple of other ones we're going to talk about, including Bounty of the Luxa, which is going to allow us to get some more mana consistently and more card draw. We also have 2 of our flip lands, and that's Search for Azcanta, so we can fix our draws a little, and Growing Rites of Italomog, both to fix our draws and fix our mana at the end there. We are also going to run Hadana's Climb. Hadana's Climb is one of the win conditions in this deck. I actually can't stress enough how great it is when it flips. Which leaves us with just a couple of things for defense, and Naturalize might be the most important. Artifacts and enchantments are going to be scary in this Brawl format, and you want a way to get rid of an artifact in almost every deck you're running. And if you don't have access to a Braid, Naturalize is one of your next best choices. Blossoming Defense is, of course, going to be in this. It can both give us that offensive win, or it can help make that an essential play and save some of those creatures we want out. We also have Heroic Intervention, one of my favorites, and I would note that it's all your permanents get hexproof and indestructible. This can help us if somebody's trying to mess with our mana and our lands, as well as if they're trying to mess with any of our enchantments on the field, our artifacts. Permanents. I love that word. Permanents you control. So, I am going to be keeping Heroic Intervention, and in fact, it's probably going to become a one-of in all of my Brawl green decks. So we have 2 more cards we're going to talk about here, and both of these are going to be other staples to Brawl that you're going to see in almost every Brawl deck, I guarantee. First up is Mirage Mirror. It is already a Commander staple. It is an amazing mirror card, and I don't think that you're going to see many decks not running Mirage Mirror in the Brawl format. The other one, you're going to see this in about half of Brawl decks. It's really going to depend on what their leader is, and if it's a Planeswalker, and that's going to be the Immortal Sun. The Immortal Sun is going to be locking down those Planeswalker leaders, as well as those Super Friends Brawl decks we've been seeing pop up already. I've got my own design for one. I'm going to be showing you guys my Nico Bola Super Enemies in one of our next videos, but right now I'm really excited about the Immortal Sun and how it's going to interact with some of these. It's one of those cards that makes me really truly think that Wizards has been designing Brawl format since about Ixalan. There's a handful of these mythics that looked like they were really good for Commander. Some of them didn't even look good for Commander, but when you look at them in Brawl, they make a lot of sense. Immortal Sun is one of those cards, and you're going to see it in a lot of these Brawl decks. So we'll talk really quickly about our land in this deck. So we are, of course, running both Woodland Stream and Botanical Sanctum. We want to go ahead and get as many of those blue and green cards as we can. We're also going to run Evolving Wilds to help fix that mana, Unclaimed Territory for the Merfolks, and Scavenger Grounds in case we run into any of the Scarab Gods. I did not pull out my Field of Ruins. It is in this deck, but I was testing it in another deck right now. Assume you're looking at Field of Ruins here too, though. Field of Ruins is another one of those that's going to become a staple in most decks. It's also why I like Heroic Intervention, in case they try to Field of Ruins out my Woodland Stream or my Botanical Sanctum. Now, we are also running 8 of Islands and Forests. So that's going to put us at 16 of both those. Gives me an exactly 60-card deck. I would love to know what you guys think about this deck tech. I have a couple of questions for you, including, did you like the live version of this deck tech? I can do more of these live, or I can go back to making them on my programs. Now, I have been kind of leaning on doing some live videos more lately because it allows me to bring you all more content. I'm trying to get to a nice mix of making content and bringing you these live contents, or just doing the filming and throwing them through the processor real quick. I want to know which ones you like more. Do you like seeing the actual cards laid out in front of you like this, or do you prefer like I did in some of the other ones where I just do quick images and I talk about them real fast? Let me know which ones you like more in the comments below, and that can be one of the comments you leave on this video as part of the giveaway. If you don't know, I'm giving away a free copy of Firesong and Sunspeaker to one lucky subscriber out there. All you have to do to get in on that giveaway is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below on what you guys are thinking about the new Brawl format, the deck techs, how I should go about making these deck techs, anything just so I can kind of track it a little better. Now, you can also go like my other videos I've made on Brawl in the last couple days, and they are all good for entries into this same thing. I'm going to be running these videos for about a week. I'll make some exact announcements on when I'm going to end the contest and do the drawing for everything here in the next day or two. So, if you like this video, if you like this format, if you like seeing my cards live compared to seeing them on the screen in pictures and stock photos, then please let me know. If there's cards you think I should add to this, or cards you want to know why I left out from this, let me know. I really want to be more engaged with all of you out there. I want to be, talking to you guys about what you want to hear. Do you like the music in the background? Is it too loud? Is it annoying? Can you not hear it at all? Let me know all of these things. I really want to make these videos something you guys enjoy watching. Now, I did Merfolk for my first deck tech for Brawl because it was the one that I had the most votes on between the channels, so I wanted to go ahead and start here. But I am going to do a couple of more. I have a few in the works right now, including a Samut deck, a Nikobola Super Enemies deck, and I'm really excited about some of these single color decks like Gaunty or even Barrel Chief of Compliance. He's going to make for an awesome control deck leader, I think. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling there. You guys can go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below for your chance to win a copy of Firesong and Sunspeaker. Check out my other videos I posted in the last couple days for more chances to win. I am Saccora with Pop Culture Theory, and I will catch you all next time.